Hey, there's around 100,000 acres burning right near my house, 10 miles away. The smoke is horrendous around here, and maybe you're in that boat, or maybe you know somebody. I'm gonna give you some suggestions, ideas, and things to help you deal with that smoke. One of them you may not have even thought of. Check it out right after this. Well, hey, thanks for stopping by my channel here at That Kilted Guy Videos. My name is Guy Purcella. I normally teach home improvement projects like drywall repairs, general light framing, all kinds of things like that. So if you like learning them kind of things, be sure and click the subscribe button. And if you click the bell icon after the subscribe button, you'll get notified each time we put out a new video. And also, if you click the show more right below this video, that will pop up a description section, and I'll put a lot of good information down there as well. Now, hey, I know that this happens every year. It's summertime. We have wildfires that flare up all the time, and California got hit. I think it was last year, and it's almost every year that California, Colorado, and states like that get hit with these wildfires. And if you live anywhere near, the smoke can just get intense. And if you've got breathing problems especially, it can get hard to breathe even. If you know somebody like that, be sure and share this video with them. My wife is one of those. She has asthma, and we actually have about 80,000 acres of land burning just 10 miles away. It's literally just right over the hill here. So you can see by some of these pictures here, the sky is just red, even in the daytime, and that's from all the smoke. There's actually ash settling on our cars. You can see in this picture here, there's ash on the windows, on the hood of the car. Sometimes you can walk out there and it's just falling kind of like snow. Well, that's bad enough. It sucks that all this is going on, but breathing can really get kind of dangerous. So here's a few things I came up with that I think will help you, and one that you probably never thought of. Okay, number one, when it's this smoky outside, you want to obviously keep the smoke out of your house. So if you have refrigerated air conditioning, not a swamp cooler, evaporative type cooling, if you have that type, close up all the windows and doors, keep them closed best you can, and use that refrigerated air, because generally it's recycling the air. It's not putting a bunch of new in, but that's still recycling the air. So if you have an HVAC system, forced air, you may have a furnace filter. If you do, I recommend you go out and get a high quality furnace filter, especially for this time. Like you might want to get a filter that's rated a Merv 8 or higher. Don't go too high. Now let me explain why. If you look on the package, it'll often tell you what it'll filter out. Now from what I've been able to gather, you need at least Merv 8. That's a rating system. And if not that, sometimes they list it like 1,000 or 1,500. Just look on there and try and get one that's rated higher, because you want a good filter. You don't want one of these. If you can see through it like this, all that's good for is like pet dander, hair, dust bunnies, a stray cat. No, seriously, we have cats. It doesn't stop much, so you want to get a filter that's got a good filtration to it. So go for that 8 to 12. Now you don't want to go too high. You might think, well, higher has got to be better. I'm going to filter out even more, right? That's true, but the higher the rating is, the less the air wants to go through it. And your filter and your furnace system is designed for certain filter ratings. If you go too high, it creates such a strain on it, you could actually damage the motor. It could collapse the filter. They are only made for so much restriction. So I would first off check your furnace and see if you can tell what rating the maximum you can get is. But if you stick with like an 8, most any system can handle that. That's going to filter out a decent amount of smoke. So start with that. But now again, you still got smoke in your house, you want to get rid of it. So if you can afford it, I would look into buying an air filter, like one of these in the picture here. It's one that you might put in your room. They're mobile. They've got a HEPA filter on them, and they often have a charcoal filter. Now, which is better, HEPA or charcoal? Well, they actually are kind of different. So normally most of these systems will have a HEPA filter with a charcoal filter on the front. Charcoal filters are really good about removing odors. I think it also removes smoke, but HEPA filter won't remove odors, not much at all. So if you get the charcoal filter on the front and the HEPA filter, you're removing the smoke and the odors. Now, growers like pot growers, they want to keep the odor down. They don't want the odor to get out of the room. They will use giant charcoal filters. I know, because we're here in Colorado where it's legal to grow, and you get these massive charcoal filters. We've got one in our room. It's about this big, about that tall. We're running it full blast because it helps with the odors and takes a lot out of the air. It'll get rid of some of the smoke. So that's one way, but those can run they can run quite a bit. They can be kind of expensive. So the other option, what you might want to do is buy you like a cheap box fan like this one here in this picture. And then for a temporary solution, you could duct tape a nice filter on the front of it. This filter right here is 18 by 18. A box fan is, they're usually around 20 inches, so this will tape right onto the front. That's actually why I have this. I made a box fan filter. That's just a temporary one. I'm in a temporary location here, and I wanted something that would help clean up the dust that gets in the air when I'm doing woodworking or something. So that's what these do. It'll remove the larger particles. But you can get these in the better quality in the same size. So just duct tape that to a box fan, or 2 or 3 of them. Put them all over your house. That's going to be cleaning up the smoke out of the air, and that right there will help you. Okay, another option is wear a mask. You know, right now we're in the middle of this coronavirus crap. I think everybody's got a few masks on hand. Wear one. The better the quality of the mask, the better it's going to do for you. My wife does alterations. She's been making lots of masks. She's wearing a mask almost all day, and if she really feels like it's getting to her, she'll put on one of my good masks. I do construction, so I've got the N95 mask that I had already before this whole thing started. The advantage to those is they seal better, number one. They seal better all around your face, and number 2 is because of that, they tend to hold in a little bit more moisture, and that moisture that you're breathing in helps you not feel like it's so dry in your throat and your chest and that alone helps with the asthma or the breathing issues. Now they say if you've got much smoke in the house, it may be settling out, because smoke does settle out. It'll leave a blue hazy film. You might want to do some deep cleaning, clean all your countertops and anything that's facing up, especially. Get rid of some of that smoke odor, and at least your house won't smell so much like a campfire. Now, if you have a swamp cooler or an evaporative cooler, they're really called evaporative coolers, but if you have that, I recommend you don't run it. But now, of course, it's going to get miserable. It's supposed to hit like over 100 here today. We're here in Grand Junction, Colorado, and we're on the edge of a desert. It can get pretty dang hot. So who can stand to sit in a house where it's over 100 degrees, right? So here's what I came up with. We have a nice cozy house. It's 74 degrees in there. No smoke smell, very little smoke smell, and it's easy to breathe. My wife is doing fine. And the reason is I built this. This is what's the unusual part. I figured, you know, swamp coolers has to blow in outside air into your house. Well, that outside air is smoky, right? Can you filter it? Well, if you were to just stick this over the opening where the air normally comes out, and this is about the right size, but if you stuck a Merv 8 filter over it, it couldn't get air through it. The reason is there's too much restriction in one of these. So in order for air to be able to blow through it, not suck through it, it has to have less restriction. Well, one way you get less restriction is a bigger filter. If you have, let's just take an example here in case this doesn't make a whole lot of sense to some of you. Let's imagine you've got a pretty massive fan. So on some swamp coolers, it could be 6,000 CFM. That's cubic feet per minute. Let's say you try and blow that through a filter this big. What's going to happen? It's going to get extremely restricted. Hardly anything's going to get through it, right? What if we took a filter that was 8 foot by 8 foot in a frame and we blew it through that? It'd come through it nice and easy. You'd hardly even feel the air coming out if it spread it all out. So that's what you're trying to accomplish, is a bigger filter will have less restriction. So this is the vent I took off of ours, and it is actually 18 by 18, which is pretty much exactly the same size as this. But if you were using a Merv 8 on that, you'd have too much restriction. So I put one on ours that is 20 by 30, and then I made this frame, and I'm going to show you how to make that frame. It's pretty simple. Then I just screwed it to the ceiling, and when this is all done, if I want to, I can take that down and patch those little holes. And there's a video I've got about how to patch little holes like that. They'll just disappear. Now, you could also paint yours. You could even leave it up and filter the incoming air all the time. I made ours kind of ugly because we're in a rental house. I'll just fix it when I'm gone and probably won't use it again. And you can stand right below this filter now that I've got it in there, and you can just barely smell any smoke. I'm not even sure I'm smelling smoke coming through it. I think it's from the smell of what's already in the house, because it's going to have permeated some of the carpet and things like that. Now what I'm going to do is, off camera here, I'm going to try and walk you through the basic design of this and show you how we built it. Okay, to build this frame, it's fairly simple. You basically build a 4-sided box like this. You can see 2 of the sides here, so you'd put a 3rd and a 4th side. This is just a mock-up here, so that gives you the outer frame like you see in the picture here. Then you need something that's going to hold the filter. So what you want to do is attach something like some OSB or some plywood to the frame here, and you want it to stick inside of the box, because when it's done, it's going to hold your filter. So this is just a cheapy filter. I wouldn't recommend this one, but the filter is going to sit inside there. So you measure the dimensions of your filter and you make the inside of this box that dimension, and you put this on here. That's what's going to hold the filter. So this is going to be the bottom. This side here attaches to the ceiling. So in order to attach it to the ceiling, you put some more OSB or plywood. This time you stick it over like that, so that when it's done, it's basically looking like this. Really simple. This would be the ceiling side. You run your screws through this side into a ceiling joist, and that sandwiches it to it. The air pressure from the fan is going to keep this tight against that piece down there. Well, hey, I hope that helped you out. This is a tough time to get through if you're going through any of this smoke stuff. If you are, I wish you the best. Fires are never any fun. I've been through a few of them. I was in Glenwood Springs when we had a Storm King fire. It was called the Storm King fire. We lost 13 firefighters in that one. They got trapped on a mountain. Right now, Glenwood Springs has a major fire going just down the road from it again. They've had fires over on Coal Ridge. There's been a lot of fires in that area, so it's prone to it. I've been around it. It's not fun. So if this helped you out, I hope you'll give us a thumbs up and help us reach more people. Share it with everybody you can on your social media and that. And be sure and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you on another video. Take care, everybody, and be safe.